All right, well, thank you, Kimberly. Much appreciated. So hello, everybody. Glad everybody could join us today. Want to go over just some items, about who DSD is and some pieces on Acumatica that are very important. So who is DSD? We are an award-winning reseller, developer, and service provider. And our mission is to connect businesses and software for success. We are based out of San Diego, California. We've been in business since 1984. And collectively, we're a team of dedicated software and IT experts, consultants, and CPAs. And we provide the expertise in the selection, configurations, implementation, training, and ongoing support of business management software systems. We do have over 45 offices throughout North America, and we have even more employees that are remote outside of those offices. So no matter where you are, we'll always have you covered. Now we've done over 5,000 custom implementations across all of our practices, and we've served over 9,000 businesses in our time. Down below, you can see some of our industry awards, achievements, and recognition. We are an Acumatica Gold Certified Partner, as well as a Diamond Partner for Sage. And then you can see some of our accreditations and recognition over to the right of that. Now, as far as our Acumatica expertise, what you see at the top of the screen here, we've got our general business editions, and the general business itself is your core financials, and then we would pair your business based on your industry specific edition. Which obviously today we're leaning more towards manufacturing and distribution, but we are not limited to just those. Below what you see in those editions, these are badges from Acumatica. They're actually certifications. We have to earn these with Acumatica. Now, Acumatica typically comes out with 2 large updates per year, and with those are going to be more user enhancements and feature enhancements for the users instead of just your typical bug patches and fixes. Now, with that, we do have to be certified in these and take these again every 2 years to ensure that we stay up with all those changes that Acumatica continues to roll out. And then some pieces on Acumatica that are extremely important, which you'll get to see a lot of today, some of which you may not get to hear, but are very important to you as you continue your evaluation of Acumatica. So starting with digital transformation, the ultimate goal is to take today's analog business, who are maybe using an older legacy system or, your QuickBooks and things like that, and moving them over to a modern technology. And pairing those in will take you over to a full digital business. So to make sure that you are efficient in your business and what you need to do going forward, Acumatica can take you through that transformation from today into tomorrow. Now, Acumatica is a true cloud ERP. This is not a legacy product that was converted to a cloud type solution where it can just be hosted on a cloud environment and be called cloud connected. It is a browser-based ERP. So as long as you have a device where you can access the internet and or the application for Acumatica, you can access your information in real time. So this means no more remote desktop, no upgrading individual laptops, no software installs, and ultimately a reduction of IT costs, taking this off of your environment, letting Acumatica host this for you. Nothing will be on your plate any longer, and they will take care of all of your backups and security, disaster recovery, etc. Now, this is extremely important. So anybody who's been on, an ERP system for quite some time, especially your old legacy customer base, Acumatica offers every customer what's called a bill of rights. Now, I won't go through all 10 of these, but there are 2 that I want to point out that are extremely important to you as you evaluate both Acumatica and if you're evaluating any outside vendors as well. The first one is going to be number 4, sustainable pricing with annual increases of no more than 3%. This means that going from year to year, when you're budgeting, you can always put a 3% max, but I do want to emphasize that it can also be less than 3%. We have seen years where there's been a 1.5% increase, or it's very seldom, but years with no increase as well. It just really depends. So that being said, please keep an eye out for what those increases look like. Most of our competitors are anywhere between the 10 to 20% range. The next one's going to be number 7, access to their data or your data anytime. Basically what this means is Acumatica will never hold your data hostage, whether you're a current customer and you want a physical raw backup of your data, or if you became an Acumatica customer and you ever wanted to leave for some reason, they'll never tell you that you can't have or access your own data. A lot of ERP companies out there do not like to make it easy because they don't want you to leave, but you can rest easy knowing that whenever you need it, it will always be at your fingertips and ready for you. Now, Acumatica is a true future-proof platform. There's a lot here. I'm not going to go through all this, but just some things that I want to point out. We have lots of different connected applications that you see on the top left. And then we've also got some other applications over to the right based on your business vertical. So nonprofit, property management, et cetera. And then down below, we have the industry editions and then some of the modules that can go into those as well and additional modules. But the important pieces are we do offer, the single sign-on capabilities for added security. We offer role-based security and then a lot of other pieces that you see over to the right of that. And then down towards the bottom, the important pieces. So with this being a true SaaS product, your subscription as a service, Acumatica does host this on Amazon Web Services for you. Now, it is also compatible if you have your own hosting partner or if you have your own cloud environment on premise, you do have the option to be able to deploy it those ways. And it is also compatible with Microsoft Azure. It is built on .NET Framework and HTML5, and it is SQL Server database. This is a very future-proof platform. This is not old technology, and this will continue to be growing as the years go on. So keep in mind, you'll be able to grow with the solution as it does in the future. Now, Acumatica's licensing is completely different than basically any other, ERP competitor out there. They do not believe in limiting its user base, so you don't have to worry about calling calling myself and saying, PJ, I may need 10 more licenses. We're growing rapidly. Acumatica includes all employees, so not just a few. No per user fees. And this will help remove any business bottlenecks. Now, one of the great things about Acumatica is we understand that businesses may have busier times of the year and slower times of the year. And the way that Acumatica's consumption-based licensing works is it can grow and flex with those seasonal requirements. So no penalties, no charges up or down, if you go over any type of consumption basing. But again, it's a very simple licensing model. It works great, and they basically just give you the environment sizing you need for optimal performance. Now, as far as security, Acumatica does have enterprise-grade security out of the box. That basically means you get your two-factor, multi-factor authentication, but as I said just a moment ago, it is compatible with Microsoft Azure, so if you do want single sign-on capabilities for added security, that is there for you as well. Now, Acumatica being a true web browser-based solution, again, you can access this on any device and you can feel secure with the same enterprise-grade security on any one of those devices, whether it's your phone, your laptop, even an Apple Watch or Amazon Alexa. The same security would apply to any of those mobile workforce pieces that you may have and may use. Now, for some industry recognition and awards, Acumatica continues to wow its space with some of the awards that you might see here. Just a couple to point out. The first one on the bottom left would be the Cody Awards. These are often compared to like the Grammys or Oscars of the software industry, and Acumatica has continued to win these for the past couple of years for best ERP solution. So very big accolade for Acumatica, and they continue to move up in their space. The next one would be the PC Mag Editor's Choice Award for Best Cloud ERP Software. They continue to win this as well. And then the big ones, another big one would be the Gartner. So Visionary for Cloud Core Financial Suites, and they're also continuously ranked quarter after quarter for highest in customer satisfaction and usability. So Acumatica continues to earn these awards and they continue to grow. And also going with the Gartner, the G2 crowd also continues to give them the same award in their space that Gartner does as well. So keep an eye on those things as Acumatica continues to improve. Now, a big piece to Acumatica's success is its flexibility with its open APIs and its rapid integrations. So, this is not limited to just having to have Acumatica or us, your partner, do any sort of customizations for you. If you have your own staff or development here, you can use its open architecture. Now, moving to the rapid integrations, Acumatica has over 250 independent software vendors, or ISVs, that have direct connectors or integrations out of the box with Acumatica. Notable names on here that you see, and again, this is just a small number, but if you do shipping, we can connect with UPS, FedEx, Ship Engine, et cetera, and lots of other pieces within Acumatica. Salesforce, Avalara for your tax needs, Office 365, et cetera, et cetera. Now, for your e-commerce presence, you got BigCommerce, Shopify, and then some others. Now, the great thing about Acumatica is with its flexibility and open APIs, if there isn't a connector out of the box, As long as we can communicate with whomever you're trying to connect to, something can always be done on the custom side as well. So you may not see things on here that you're using, but please make sure that you ask us and we'll see what can be done when we get there. This is just a slide showing some of the different ISVs that we've got, and this does continue to grow year over year, month over month, as companies are just wanting to be a part of Acumatica. A lot of these that you see here, you may or may not be using, but the great thing about the ecosystem is when you sign up with an ISV, most of those solutions you use within Acumatica as if it's part of Acumatica itself. So, please feel free to look at Acumatica's marketplace and see if any of the solutions that you're using currently have an integration. But again, this does continue to grow on a regular basis. Now, out of the box, Acumatica does have over 250 standard reports. There are no code custom reports where you yourself could go in and do things, which if we get to go to a tailored demo or maybe even some pieces today, you may see a little bit of that. But we do also have integrations with companies like Power BI, Tableau, other ISV solutions, and then some more down here at the bottom that you might see for any further reporting options that you might need outside of what Acumatica offers out of the box. Now, this is a very powerful tool that you may not be a part of Acumatica already, but if you are interested in continuing your learning of Acumatica after this, Acumatica has what's called Open University. Now, this tool is so powerful, you can go on and you can view videos and tutorials, but moreover, we actually use this through our implementation with our blended training approach. This is where you would actually go in and start your tutorials and introduction videos of Acumatica, and then some other pieces, but this is free to all. You do not have to be a customer of Acumatica to take advantage of Open University. So please feel free to use this to your advantage. Maybe this will produce some questions or kind of pique some interest of what you're looking to continue to learn outside of the demos that we may provide you. But we are here when you need us. Now, basically what we've got here, this is just showing, the problem that we had from a Sage client that, it outgrew its Sage 100 base. And basically when they come over to Acumatica, we have their problem, we have their solution, and we have their outcome. Beyond this, if you look at Acumatica success stories, there are lots of these stories that are on Acumatica's website that you can go on and you can view what a customer's problem, solution, and outcome was. This is just one example of many that are out there as we continue to be able to move those legacy customers to Acumatica and just really improve the efficiency and overall success of their business. And with that, I will hand this over to Chris Joko, and he will start us off with the live solution tour. Chris.
Thanks, PJ. Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you.
All right, awesome. Get over here.
Let me make you presenter.
Oh, no, I got you. All right, can you guys see my screen okay? Awesome.
We can.
Well, thank you all for joining us today on our Lunch and Learn Exploring Acumatica ERP. Just want to reiterate some of the things that PJ talked about. Acumatica is a cloud offering browser-based solution. It was built specifically for a web environment. We support pretty much any modern day browser today. So if you're a fan of Chrome or Firefox or Safari, if you guys have Mac devices, we can access Acumatica anywhere as long as you have internet and you have some sort of device. Doesn't even need to be a computer, it could be a tablet or a smartphone. Out of the box, Acumatica does have native iOS and Android apps so that you can access the system through an app rather than utilizing the browser. But even if you used a browser on a smaller device like an iPad or an iPhone, Acumatica will automatically adjust to accommodate whatever device that you guys are using. We offer a role-based management offering that allows us to lock things out for certain users. So if you don't have a role that has access to a specific task, you won't be able to access that task, or you won't even be able to see that task in Acumatica. Our solution can be configured very easily with low-code, no-code customizations. And even if we did need to do a full customization, the architecture that Acumatica has designed has helped many of our customers' customizations survive the upgrade process year over year. One of the big feature sets that Acumatica has over a lot of legacy applications is the support of multi-company and multi-currency environments. These are applications that are based in Acumatica. So you don't need to spend tens of thousands of dollars to add multi-currency functionality to Acumatica.
Hey, Chris, I'm going to interrupt you really quick because we see your Acumatica window, and I wasn't sure if you're actually showing some other visuals. Are we still in the right window?
Yeah, I'm not showing anything right now.
Okay,
I'm just giving
perfect.
my opening comments. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Cool. So today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Acumatica's distribution and manufacturing edition. So I'm going to go ahead and log into Acumatica, and right off the bat, I'm going to take you through a little tour of how we kind of work through Acumatica. But just as a background, Acumatica's distribution edition consists of an inventory module, our sales order management, our purchase order management, requisition management, as well as advanced financials. Our manufacturing edition includes additional modules like bill of materials, material requirements planning, production management, as well as some optional modules like advanced planning and scheduling, estimating, configurator, and even some manufacturing data collection and warehouse management. So we'll touch on some of those things as I go through the system today. From a manufacturing standpoint, Acumatica supports a lot of different markets, like industrial markets, instruments, cosmetics. Acumatica fits within a lot of these industries, automotive, medical devices. If you put something together and you sell it, or if you buy something and sell it, Acumatica can handle that for you. So what I'm going to start with today is I'm just going to give you kind of a view of our user experience utilizing Acumatica. And the first thing we're going to start with is just how we navigate. This is our control center here in Acumatica. You have your workspaces down the left-hand side. If I want to look at the inventory workspace, I can see all of the different tasks that I have available to my user role. We are able to create shortcuts to creating transactions. So if I'm in the sales orders workspace, I can create what we call a menu tile so that I can bypass looking at the list of sales orders and just goes directly into creating a sales order. We also have multi-company and multi-branch features. So in this particular instance, my Acumatica system is actually running 3 separate distinct companies. These companies represent a legal entity that has independent balance sheet and separate tax reporting. So if I come up here and look at this, I can see that I am running 3 companies with 4 branches. So I have a capital holdings company, I have a products company, as well as a service-based company. On top of having multi-company support, I can have different branches within those particular companies. And so those branches will represent different divisions of these companies. So for example, in my products company, I have a retail branch and a wholesale branch. And in my services company, I'm distinguishing between my East branch and my services West branch. So with all of this, we are able to run all of these companies within one tenant of Acumatica. We are able to share the chart of accounts. We could share our financial calendar. We could share currencies. And what advantage does this give to all of our Acumatica customers? Out of the box, I can run a consolidated financial report without doing any kind of exporting to Excel and manipulation of data. I could go straight to my finance module, print out a balance sheet, pick the specific period that I want to run this balance sheet for, and get a total number, or go ahead and look at my groups and break it down by product company, services company, or even just going down to my wholesale branch. And I could do this at the balance sheet level, profit and loss report level, cash flow statement level, all of that becomes automatic because of our multi-company and multi-branch support. So a very powerful tool when it comes to Acumatica and being able to process transactions actually also within the same transaction. How many times have you're running multiple businesses most of the time within the same facility, and you get an electricity bill from SDG&E, right? And I want to be able to split that up between my wholesale company, my retail company or branch, and my services branches. Well, with Acumatica, we can create transactions. If I wanted to create a brand new bill from accounts payable, I could just go ahead and pick my one vendor and split that bill up because I can then pay it one time. So if I come in here and I choose Edison, maybe I should learn how to spell real quick here, Edison as my vendor. So I'm going to pull up Edison Power, and then they may have sent me a bill for, for May of my power. And what I could do is with these branches, I could say for the wholesale branch, they are charging us $250. And for my retail branch, I might say that I'm splitting this up $250. And then maybe on my services branch, my east branch here might be $100. And then on my west branch, I'm actually specifying here that I'm going to do $50. And so by doing this, Edison sent me a bill for $650. I go ahead and save this bill. And then when I remove this hold and actually post this transaction, what ends up happening is that I will automatically get due to and due from transactions posted on the back end. So no more manual journal entries between different companies within your legacy system, because in my financial journal entry, if I open up this GL batch, what ends up happening here is that I have automatic due from related and due to related postings automatically to create balancing entries. So the power of being able to run multiple companies and multiple branches within one single tenant or system makes Acumatica very, very powerful for companies with multiple entities. So after that, basically what I want to take you through is just a little kind of day in the life. I typically start my day off here in Acumatica in my dashboard. So one thing that makes us stand out between a lot of other systems is our dashboard is 100% configurable by the end user. We always report live data. We can support an unlimited number of widgets on a dashboard. And typically I will use colors like you see here on my scorecard to be able to bring things to my attention. This way I can work by exception, not by just looking at what do I have to ship today. No, I need to start here with what orders are late. So I'm going to go ahead and drill into my scorecard, and I'm going to be able to pull in information about what orders are late. I could see here, let me just go ahead and make this full screen here. I could see here that these were scheduled to ship out even a year ago. And I might want to take a look at what's actually on this order. So I can use a side panel here in Acumatica to be able to highlight the line of what I'm looking for and then pull in my side panel the details of what I'm trying to ship. And so if I'm looking at all of these orders here, I can actually see what are the things that I've sold and what I'm trying to get out the door. A lot of our users have different interests. Therefore, we have our users configuring these dashboards. We could start with a base, and then they can add the items that are more important to them so they can monitor that information. A nice feature about our dashboards as well is that I can put parameters on them. So right now I'm looking at all of my customers' 360-degree view. Well, if I wanted to say, you know what, let me go ahead and take a look at just my USA bartending school. When I pick the parameter, Acumatica will automatically refresh all of the widgets specifically to my one customer. So we're able to get on the fly information. If I'm a salesperson and I'm about to call my customer, I could just get all of their contact information. I could see what's out there. I could see what opportunities I'm working on from CRM. We have a lot of functionality that we could do just by starting at the dashboard level. A couple of other usability features that I think are important from an Acumatica, because we are a modern architecture for ERP, we can actually make favorites. So if I wanted to make this customer view a favorite, and I wanted to go into my receivables and grab my customer profiles list as a favorite, and maybe my item list as a favorite, I can mark these things as favorites with the star, and then they all end up in my favorites workspace. So I can get to that information quicker. I can open up my stock items list, see what items that I have in my, what items I have in inventory, but I could also right click on a particular task. And when I right click on that task, I can open it in a new tab. And this way I could have multiple screens open simultaneously, whether I have my stock items on one screen, my customers on another screen. I might have my vendors and sales orders on another tab. This way I can utilize the power of the browser to actually get in and out of those particular screens. We have the ability to do universal search. If I'm looking for where do I do 1099s, I could just type in the word 1099 in my universal search and find all of the tasks that are available for 1099s. But even at that, I still don't know how to do 1099s. So I can access help topics that center around 1099s. How do we configure them? How do we maintain them? How do we file them? Acumatica provides full help inside of your system. If I'm doing something like sales orders, right? So if I come in and I do sales orders and I look at my menu items, here are all my sales orders tasks. But let's say you guys have a specific SOP for your business. You have a specific procedure that you guys want to do. So if I'm working with a sales order, maybe what I want to go ahead and do is I want to take that help file and I want to insert my company's specific rules into this process, right? So if I want to modify this, I actually can modify all of our help and insert the things that are unique to your business. So Acumatica has a wiki style help file that you can actually modify or create new SOPs and place them into the system. We also have the ability to search for files because we have built-in document management in Acumatica. So you'll see a little bit of that as I go through some transactions, but we're able to search for those files utilizing our universal search. So we have lots of tools here that will basically get you where you're trying to go. One thing you'll see throughout the system here are these little filters. Most screens will have a little filter button. So if I'm looking at my list of customers, but I only want to get my key customers, I can click on the little filter here and say, you know what, let me grab that customer class and pull up my key customers. And then I can save this as a permanent filter. When I save this as a permanent filter, what Acumatica will actually do is just create another tab on that customer list. So now I can just quickly get to my key customers and then just go ahead and access them directly from the screen here. So I don't need to actually always filter my screen. I can get directly to that screen. Now, if I have a contract with a customer and I want to be able to save that to their record, I could just take a PDF file, a Word document, and just drag it onto the screen. And Acumatica will upload that contract or that document to that customer. And you can see here under our files that I've saved these files directly to that customer's record. With our integration with Adobe, I can actually click on this PDF files and I can actually see those documents. And I can see that contract here that all of the, what we've agreed to. If I want to put notes, I can annotate this PDF and just start putting notes here. Sent to customer, whatever you guys want to do. And when I go ahead and save that edit, Acumatica will actually keep versions of this document. So I can always see what the original version was versus the modified version. So we keep track of all of that with our document management. A lot of times at the end of the day with Acumatica or any legacy ERP system, you guys have things, end of day procedures, where you guys make post transactions, or you might run something that you're just pushing the button at the end of the day. Well, with Acumatica, with all of our processes, if I wanted to process an end of day, actually, let me go ahead and save that real quick. If I want to process an end of day transaction, and I want Acumatica to actually just do that for me, well, then all I need to do here is just go to the processing screen. I'm going to go to my process invoices and memos. And anytime you see this little clock, this basically means I could create a schedule, and I can actually set things to just happen automatically for me at any particular time. This allows me to not worry about manually running processes and allow me to run my business proactively instead of being reactive. So think about those things, and what, just with usability features, how much time can we actually save, and how much time, how many repeatable things that I don't need to actually do, or being able to manage by exception utilizing dashboards. What would have happened if I had something like Acumatica years ago? So those are the things that we like to bring to light, especially with customers that have been on legacy products for so long. A lot of these modern features that are built into Acumatica really help companies become more efficient. So that's our tour of the usability features. What I want to take you through now is something specific to distribution and manufacturing. Acumatica was built for the omni-channel. And what that means here is that if you get orders from Walmart, or if you get orders from Amazon or other EDI, or you guys have a retail location with point of sale, or an e-commerce website built on BigCommerce, Magento, Shopify, WooCommerce, those kind of things, Acumatica was built to communicate with those things. So technically, any of these things, like with EDI, Amazon, Fulfilled by Merchant, BigCommerce, Shopify, e-commerce, we have integrations that allow us to pull those orders directly into Acumatica. And with our manufacturing suite, we're able to produce items, whether we are at a make-to-order type of house, or we are a make-to-stock type of house, or we're a configure-to-order type of house. We have support for all of those things. And with our warehouse tools, we're able to have multiple bin locations for each particular warehouse. So done with the legacy where we only can have one single location within a warehouse, I can have multiple locations. So if I'm looking at my inventory and I am looking at my warehouse, I can actually set up different racks and rows of where my actual product is being stored. So if I took a look at my wholesale warehouse here, I can actually create all these different locations to represent where inventory could be stored, and whether or not we allow sales to come out of that particular location. So I can say that, oh, maybe I'm pulling in inventory into my sorting location or my receiving location, but I need to transfer it to another location when I'm getting down to selling it. If we're using MRP, material requirements planning, I can have Acumatica look at those specific locations to calculating MRP for those. So our warehouse management is quite robust. So let's take a look at let's create a sales order that maybe we need to configure to order, right? So if I go into sales orders, I'm going to go ahead and go to my tile to create a brand new sales order. With Acumatica, we can manage different order types so that I would allow myself to segregate between e-commerce orders, Amazon orders, Shopify orders, those kind of things. I could create different order types so that I can keep track of those different types here and segregate those orders. With Acumatica, we have full type ahead. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a specific customer, and I'm going to go ahead and select what location I might be shipping to. So in this case, I'm just going to be shipping to their primary location. If they give me a PO number, I'm just going to go ahead and put in that PO number. And what I'm going to go ahead and do first off is I'm going to add a custom bat to my order. So in this case here, I have a custom wooden bat. And in this case right now, as is, this wooden bat is going to cost the customer $10. Now with our configure to order type of tools with Acumatica, once I save this order, I can start configuring this order with my customer on the phone. So if I click on the configure here, I can start to put in, what my configuration is going to be. What is my bat length? What do I want that to be? It has to be between 30 and 35. So maybe in my case, I'm not that tall, but I'm just going to go ahead and put 34 inches for my bat length. Do I want express option or not? It's a required field, so it's going to make me pick something. And so when I don't pick something on a required field, you'll see that that exclamation is there. And then on my bat weight, do I want it to be heavier or lighter? So maybe in my case, I want to just shave some weight off of that. Now we get into our options. In here, I could start by choosing my bat color, bat handle color. So maybe I'm going to start with a natural handle. With the way that we can create our rules, with a natural handle, I may not be able to select certain body colors. So if I go ahead and choose the black paint for my body color, then when I get to my color, I'm going to get less options for what colors I could put. I can't put black lettering on a black bodied bat. So in this case here, I'm going to just choose what options I have available. So with our configurator, we're able to build these rules to help step somebody through creating a custom order. And in this case here, I'm just going to go ahead and make this a wood maple. Actually, you know what? Let's make this wood ash. And when I'm finished with this configuration, each one of these configurations adds to the price. So when I close out, that goes from $10 to $42.60. With our integration to production, it's automatically marked for production. So if I try to ship this bat and create a shipment here out of my wholesale warehouse, what Acumatica is going to do is it's going to say, sorry, I don't have anything to ship. Why? Because Acumatica doesn't allow negative inventory. We try really hard to make sure that you always have something available. And if we are marking this for PO or production, we are making sure that you actually go through and create that production order specifically for that item. So now with Acumatica's integration to manufacturing, I can create my custom production order. So in this case here, I'm going to step through creating this production order. So I'm going to go ahead and create this. What this is going to do is it's going to create a production order in my manufacturing module. So it created production order number 40. So now our production team can actually review these production orders and get them on the schedule. If I'm a production person, I'm just going to go into my production order maintenance. I'm going to see all of the production orders that have been put in. I could see what status they're in. I could see if they're planned. I could see if they're released to the production floor. I could see if they're in process, which ones are completed, which ones are closed out, and which ones have been canceled. So I'm able to see that information right away. A lot of our customers have visualized this listing and put it on a dashboard so that we could see kind of with those scorecards what's in production and what's completed and what's late, those kind of things. So just take a look at some of these items that we have in the production order side. Of course, we have full bill of materials where we can create pre-bill of materials so we know exactly what's going to go on a production. But we also, with the configure to order, those rules will actually insert the different material that's required. So if I took this production order and looked at the details for it, I can actually see all of the steps that are required to put this bat together and all of the material that is needed on a step-by-step basis. So first, I just need wood, and I need to cut that blank wood to a length. Then step 2, I need to paint it, and then I'm going to grab the paint from those particular steps. And then I'll need to engrave it, which will need some red paint. And then lastly, I'll need to inspect that. Acumatica supports full production processes or even back flushing. So if you don't want to use so many different steps, we can actually create these productions. And just for demo purposes here today, I'm actually going to mark all of these steps for backflush so that we can actually just step through these particular transactions. One of the nice features that I like to show off when it comes to production in Acumatica is our critical materials. While we do have MRP to analyze all of our production and all of our sales demand, I can go on a production order by production order basis and run a critical materials report to see, do I have enough material to fulfill this one production order? In this case here, I can see that I don't have enough natural estain. So in this case here, what I can do is then generate a purchase order for this inventory. And with that purchase order, I can then issue out and buy some of that natural paint. So in this case here, I'm just generating a purchase order. Maybe in this case here, I'll probably just buy more. Let's just buy 5 gallons of this. And again, modern functionality that comes with Acumatica is approval processes. These used to be additional modules that you had to buy with legacy systems to incorporate an approval process. So I need to send this over to my finance team to actually approve these purchase orders. So I'm going to just go ahead and approve this right now, and I'm going to receive this inventory so that I can actually fulfill my production. So I'm now just going to receive this into inventory. And now if I go back to my production order details and rerun my critical material, I should hopefully have nothing showing up that's short. And then if I wanted to, I could show all the items and see here are all the things that I might need in this case. So lots of reports that are available. I mean, I can also print out a production ticket, those types of things. If I wanted to show, kind of like a traveler form. So if I wanted to run my production ticket, I actually have that capability here. I can include barcodes on this production ticket. I can see what step, what's the thing that needs to be done, what material is used at this step, and then I can send it from step to step through my different work centers in the warehouse. As we move through this particular production process, Acumatica does have, scanning capabilities. So if I wanted to scan this particular transaction, whether I use my handheld or a handheld scanner that just has this screen open, I can actually step through this process and walk through with a handheld scanner, scan the document, it'll pull in, scan mode, scan the production order. Oh, I guess I need to release that, my bad. So you can see here, hey, this is not ready to be produced. So now what I need to do is release this to the production floor. Releasing it to the production floor now allows me to come back into my move transaction, and now it's asking me what step. So I'm going to start with step 10, And then I'm going to say, where is this going? And I'm going to say that I'm scanning one of these things here. When I release this move or I post this transaction, what you're going to see is it's going to move this production order. If I refresh here, it's going to go from a release status to an in process status. And then when I look at my production detail, I'm going to see what step is actually completed. So with Acumatica, I can always track my work in process. So as things are moving through the manufacturing floor, I can see where we're at with any particular production order at any time. For essence of time, I'm just going to go ahead and move through the rest of these things here, and I'm going to step through each particular step. And then we're going to go through step 2. We're going to go through step 3. We're going to release this here. And then the last step, which will complete our step here, is step 4. And then when I release this item in step 4, which is our production and inspecting and packaging, you're going to see our status go from in process, and it's going to go into a completed status. So now this production has been completed. We now have this custom bat in our inventory. And now I'm going to be able to go back to my sales order and allow this process or this order to be shipped. Earlier, we got an error where it said we didn't have anything to ship. Now, if I wanted to create a shipment for this one particular order, what will actually come up is the actual custom item that we actually put together. And so now with our integrated shipping in Acumatica, we are able to put this into a package. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to use my handheld in this case here, and I'm going to open up Acumatica, and I am going to go into warehouse management. Oops, let me log in. I'm going to go into warehouse management here, and I'm actually going to pick, pack, and ship this item. And so in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print my pick list. Where does that print pick list? Sorry. And now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to scan my shipment number. So in this case here, I actually have I have a scanner on my phone, and I'm just going to scan that. I'm going to say, where am I grabbing this from? R1S1 location. And then what is the item code? I'm going to scan that off of my package. And now this has been picked off of the rack. The next thing I might do is I might pass this item over to my packing station, and they are going to convert into a packing, and then they're going to specify what type of box they're putting this into. And then we're going to scan the item of putting that into a box. And at this point in time, I am going to confirm that I stuffed that into my package. What I'm going to go ahead and do is when I go back into this here, I'm going to refresh my page. And because my mobile app is connected directly to my Acumatica system, I am going to see that I have packaged that item into my medium box. So now what I might want to do here is I want to determine how am I shipping this out. So maybe I'll send this out FedEx ground. I don't necessarily need insurance. And now I'm going to go ahead and confirm my shipment. When I confirm my shipment with my integration to FedEx, what happened? I got my tracking number and I got my FedEx label. So now all of this stuff does not have to be processed outside of Acumatica. I could go directly through the system and be able to process all of these transactions. And then our last step is invoicing our customer. So now I'm just going to go ahead and prepare my invoice, and I'm going to email that invoice to my customer, and I am going to then post this transaction to my system here. So I'm going to go ahead and come through, email this out to my customer, and then once it's emailed, it will automatically tag an activity for that customer. It's going to utilize PDF. So it's going to convert that invoice into a PDF file, and it's going to have a generic email message. And when I look at that file, it's just going to go ahead and show me my document here. So this is Acumatica has full capabilities here as far as being able to see, customize your forms, things like that. And so now at this point in time, I have emailed a copy to my customer, and then now I can come back to my invoice and I can go ahead and post that transaction. So what you've seen here too is we do not have to do batch posting. We can actually post individually, but Acumatica does have the capability to post in batches. So if you are used to that, we could just enter all the invoices, and then at the end of the day, we can let our automation post for us. So I know we went through a lot there, and I showed you guys a lot of things as far as, from a sale to a production to shipping to invoicing. I'd love to show you guys more deep depth of Acumatica. So if you guys want to see more, obviously please reach out to Kimberly or to PJ so that we can schedule a more deep dive into Acumatica. But at that, what I want to go ahead and do is I want to send this back over to PJ and Kimberly. And if anybody has any additional questions, we'll open it up for Q&A. But I do thank you guys for letting me show you just a little bit of what Acumatica can do for your business.
Thanks so much, Chris. I'll
No
let you
problem.
go really quick because I got a
Sure.
couple questions that maybe would be helpful.
Okay.
So one of them is about web orders. The question is just, are web orders integrated as well?
Absolutely. So like I mentioned earlier, we support the omni-channel. So we have connections with EDI providers like SPS Commerce, True Commerce. We have direct integrations with e-commerce platforms like Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, Magento. We actually have a direct connection to Amazon for Fulfill by Merchant, or FBM for short. So we do have ways to integrate orders so that they don't have to be keyed in manually into the system.
Perfect. Another question came pretty early on. It was about the Google Maps connection with Acumatica. I think it was maybe a logo they saw. Is that easy to show or easy to explain?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have map, address validation. I don't think I have mine hooked up to Google Maps, but I do have it hooked up to Bing Maps, which is somewhat similar. So essentially, we get an API directly from Google Maps or Bing Maps, and I can use that within the system here. So if I'm looking at a customer and I don't necessarily have their address, so like in this case, if I was creating a new customer for DSD Business, I can come in here and just type in DSD Business Systems. And then if I don't know their address, I could do a lookup here. And with our Bing or Google Map integration, I could just look up DSD Business Systems, and you can see some of our other addresses pop up. But here's our main address in San Diego. And then in this scenario here, I can select this, and that would pull directly in from our address integration. So we can use this for things like here on the customer and vendor side, but we can also do that on the sales and CRM side as well.
Oh, cool. All right, perfect. Another one was about multiple businesses. How does Acumatica kind of handle multi-company?
Yeah, so like we mentioned early in the presentation, we can handle multiple companies. We handle a multi-company, multi-branch environment. And then I showed how we did all of those financials automatically. But yes, we can handle multi-company and multi-branch.
Perfect. That maybe was early on before you covered it. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
Right. So another one's sort of on the same plane about the question is, how does Acumatica handle multi-language or multi-currency?
So out of the box, Acumatica supports multi-currency. So we have a full currency management module. So if we look at the currency rates here, I can specify which currencies I'm transacting in. And then I can have Acumatica go out to Open Exchange and actually refresh these rates for us automatically. So we have a refresh currency rate, and then any transaction that we do, I can do it in a different currency, and then Acumatica will translate it back to our base currency for us. And Acumatica will track all of the gains and losses if there are differences between day over day with the currency exchange. From a multi-language aspect, because Acumatica is a browser-based application, number one, we do have some localization packages for Canada, for the UK. They're adding new localization all the time, even for Mexico. But if I just want to translate things, Acumatica does tie into like Google Translate in here. And so if I wanted to translate this page into, something else, like if my warehouse users or my field service folks want to look at it in Filipino, I can switch that, and Acumatica will automatically convert the language on the screen to that currency. To that language, sorry.
Yeah, perfect. It's so cool. Okay, well, so we're running out of time today, so I apologize if we didn't get to your question. We'll go ahead and follow up to any of those that we did not get to. But as for that, I will pass it to PJ to close. PJ, are you with us?
Yep, I am here. Yep.
Thank you.
Well, very good. Well, thank you, everybody. We greatly appreciate your time. And, if there's any questions, please feel free to reach out and let us know. If you're currently a DSD